So from finance, we're going to move over to something a bit closer to home. The food we eat and the waste that we generate. Food systems account for a significant share of global emissions, but they're also an area where small everyday changes can have real meaningful impact. Our next speaker is Maxx Silver from Oz Harvest Ventures. If you haven't already had a taste of their incredible drinks at the back, definitely do that before you leave today. But I will leave Maxx to talk more about that. Please welcome Maxx.
Check, check, check. No? There we go. How does this one work? I'll figure it out. Good morning. Good morning. Great. Lauren asked me to make sure that this talk was interactive. So if you're having a good morning, say aye. Aye. Great, we've interacted. I have a bit of a confession to make as I start here. I would prefer that I'm actually not on stage in front of you all today, and not just because I'm nervous, though I am, but I wish that climate change, that food waste, that food insecurity were not the complex, wicked problems that they are. But that's not the world that we live in, at least not today. And one of my core beliefs about people power is that it starts with acknowledgement and acceptance of the problem that we're confronted with. Because from acknowledgement and acceptance come agency. And so agency gives us the opportunity to make a different choice in the world. Is that the wrong button? How do we do this? The big green one, that makes sense. Nope. Sorry, can we go back one more? There we go. I got it. I got the big green one. That's me. Okay. My name is Maxx Silver. I am the business development manager for Oz Harvest Ventures. I have a background in behavioral psychology. I have a master's degree in complex systems engineering. Complexity science, interestingly, is kind of the study of how billions of individual interactions can create systemic change. So similar to what Darcy was talking about, or also how an unexpected interaction can create systemic change. So that's the Commonwealth Bank example that Christina spoke about. So that's all sort of complex system science and thinking. And so, I think that through that experience, hopefully I can offer a bit of a unique perspective on this topic of people power. Raise your hand, say aye if you've heard of Oz Harvest. Yeah, great, excellent. So Oz Harvest, as you know, is the nation's leading food rescue network for 20 years. Been going around to grocery stores, to hotels, to airlines, to restaurants, and rescuing beautiful produce, food that would otherwise go to waste, and distributing it to people in the community. We have over 1,500 charity partners, and over the course of 20 years, we've served more than 300 million meals. That's a real teaspoons of change story. And Ronnie Kahn, if you haven't heard us speak, will tell you that story in the form of a teaspoon. What Oz Harvest Ventures is doing, we're the profit-for-purpose social enterprise startup that's been spun out of Oz Harvest. So what we're doing is we're going directly to farms, rescuing surplus produce from the farms, making new products out of it, and then contributing a portion of that revenue back to Oz Harvest. Back in, we started this business about late 2023. We had about a year of R&D and our first product in market late 24. And middle of last year, we launched our O for Oz Harvest master brand. So this is a product that is out in market currently. And there's a lot of intention that went into this branding. And I want to speak about that a little bit, because when I think about people power and I think about my background in behavioral psychology, one of the concepts that I wanted to offer is this idea of framing and the importance of framing a problem. When we as we started to launch this master brand, we asked ourselves, how do you take these topics of climate change, of food insecurity, of hunger, of food waste? As we've heard already, they can be quite heavy. They can feel quite heavy on your shoulders. And one of the questions we asked ourselves is, how do we create a connection with consumers that feels lighter, that brings levity, that brings curiosity, that brings maybe some joy, some whimsy, right? That's framing. So we've tried to frame this brand in a way that allows people to connect everyday choices, everyday acts of climate activism in their purchasing behavior. I'll tell you a quick little anecdote. One of my mentors is Kylie Foment. She's the CEO of the Social Enterprise Council. I was visiting her at her office in Wollongong, and she said she made me a cup of tea, and I took the tea bag out and dropped it in the compost, and she said, "Max, I love your optimism, but that staple in the tea bag is not compostable." and that to me is the power of framing, because I didn't feel shamed. I didn't feel like I did something, even though I did it wrong. I didn't feel that I did something wrong. And I'll tell you, I've never put a staple in a tea bag in the compost since. Right? I checked before. And that's the power of framing and the ability that it has to change your behavior. And ask any sort of motivational psychologist, any sort of coach, speaker, they understand the power of framing. Another frame that I want to share with you is the frame of business for good. So I've spent much of my career in the social enterprise sector, and one of the things that I have seen in that time is that the best social entrepreneurs, the most successful social entrepreneurs that I know, they will tell you that they are running a business, right? And the frame that I try to share with my team as I'm helping to run this business is I tell them, we're here to run a business, right? And that means we have to be commercially sensible. We're here to do good, absolutely. That impact is embedded in everything we do. Every product that we make utilizes surplus produce. Every product that we make will contribute to helping feed people in the community. But we are running a business, and we're going to grow. And that means it changes the way that we make decisions. It's the framing that I wanted to offer to all of you. And part of running a business and part of complex systems thinking is building feedback loops, getting feedback from your customers, getting feedback about your products, and getting people to try it. And so that's part of what I wanted to do here today. So as you will see, my colleague Shell has been putting some lemonades on the table. So I think we've got one table left. And the idea here is we want to ask for your help and get a little bit of feedback from you all and understand how we're doing. So we're gonna do a little bit of a blind taste test. You have 3 cups of lemonade on your table. I invite everybody to pull out your phone and scan the QR code. And just the way that it works is you've got the 3 cups, you got A, B, and C. I just want you to try a little taste of each lemonade, and then that QR code will take you to a survey, and it'll say, which one. And if it doesn't work, it's okay. We can, this is part of us learning. We need to figure out how to do these things. So, but the idea is that you taste the 3 lemonades, and you tell us which is your favorite. There's a couple other questions, and then there's an opportunity for you to stay in touch. If you want to share your email address with us, we'll promise not to spam you. But even if our lemonade is not your preference, I don't want you to try to guess which one is ours. That's not the point. I want you to honestly tell us which one is your favorite, because even if it's not ours, you might still choose to support us. You might still see our products in the store and still purchase them because you know about the impact. But one of the frames that I have, I said, we're running a business. And one of my other mentors, he's the former GM of PepsiCo in Australia. And I met with him 2 or 3 times. I've met with him much more, but we met 2 or 3 times. And I tell him about these lemonades. And he one time I was telling, about the 3rd time we're meeting, and we're sitting at the table, and I'm telling him about the lemonades. And he goes, Max, the impact story is beautiful, but does it taste good? and that was the frame of the business person saying, it's got to taste good. You've got to be able to compete on taste. You've got to compete on quality. You've got to compete on value. And so the question to you is, which is your preference? Even if it's not ours, you might still buy our product, but we need to start getting the feedback of whether we're competing on taste, on quality, on value. And so I thank you in advance for trying the lemonades and giving us your feedback. Is everybody able to get to the form? Is that working all right? Yeah, cool, great. I see people are sampling. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves for a moment. I'll give you a second just to finish out that form. I will tell you that one of the lemonades is ours, so we're not tricking you. One of the lemonades is one of a premium competitor, and one of the lemonades is one of the mainstream brands. So you can wrestle with that and try to see if you can figure out which one's which. Too late, sorry. No, that's my fault, sorry. That's all right. I forgot that slide was on there. That's part of learning, though, right? It's part of learning. This is the first time that I've done this in public, and we have to learn, we have to grow, we have to iterate, we have to test. And so I appreciate all of you giving me the opportunity to run that test with you. And it's okay if you didn't quite get there in time. We'll still take your feedback, and we still want to know which do you prefer. The next slide I thought was, so we've got our O lemonade is lemonade A, we've got the Lemmy lemonade B, and then we've got Solo is lemonade C. I do want to just also share that we've got a couple other products that we've taken to market. So Oz Harvest Ventures is not just staying in the lemonade business. We have this beautiful non-alcoholic product we call Conscious Drink. It's made with surplus blueberries, native botanicals. So we partnered with a business called Kakadu Kitchen. They're an indigenous native bush food company out of the Northern Territory. They supply us with wild harvested lemongrass, saltbush, and pepperberry. That product is there at the back table if you'd like to try that. It's 0 alcohol, it's delicious. It's currently served in the Qantas International First Class Lounge, 5-star hotels, premium fine dining restaurants, and increasingly found all across Australia. The lemonades, I do want to talk just briefly on the people power. One of the things that's happening right now is we are about to launch that lemonade into Harris Farms. So that deal is done. They've got the product in their warehouse. I expect it'll be on shelf either this week or next week. And one of the things that happens when you go into retail environments is if the product doesn't sell, it gets pulled, right? So one of my asks of you is next time you're in a Harris Farms supermarket, go to the cold section, go find our O for Oz Harvest lemonade and buy 3. And if you can't buy 3, buy 2. And if you can't buy 2, buy 1. Because if you help us move that product, it'll stay in store and we'll be able to grow and expand and we'll be able to continue to do the good work that we're doing. That's pretty much it from me. If you would like to know more about our products, we do have an online shop. That QR code will take you there. If you'd like to connect with me directly, that QR code in the corner, and then I'll be hanging out for a little bit after. I do have to jet out to another event, but come say hi and we can connect afterwards. So thank you very much.